What is up? I have to tweet out the stream. Tell me about it. Oh yeah. I mean, it's basically going back to the past. No, not the playoffs. Yeah. Oh shoot, I need to go to the YouTube live stream. Copy this. It's a true statement. I just need to disconnect my Xbox controller real quick and put this away. I was playing Halo. I got placed into Plat 3 right off the rip. Yes. And team skins right off the bat. Let me just say, it has been a blast. I've been loving Halo. Literally loving every single minute of it. Your audio is not coming. All right, say something.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello.
Okay, I think we're at decent microphone volume levels.
Nice.
Let me
Oh,
pop open.
can't be what you want from me that all right.
Wait, was that your mom laughing?
No, why?
Oh, because I was gonna say it sounded exactly like your laugh when you get like hysterical.
Oh, it was my little brother.
Okay, so that laugh runs in the family.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Which one is it? It is using my mic, right?
Yeah.
The nice one? Okay.
Yeah, there was a notable quality increase. Oh, sorry, Coco.
Give me a sec.
Put this here. Oh god, the Cloud9 superfan is in the chat. Oh, okay. So we're wearing rosters today. We're wearing team jersey. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna go change.
There we go. This is to recruit Chovy. Please, Chovy. Do the right thing. All right.
Wearing the Optic jersey for today. Because, you know, the throwback deserves to be appreciated. And one day, this roster will be back in the LCS.
Yeah.
And I will lead the Green Wall to a victory and an LCS title. Not me as in playing, but me as in I will be a part of it in some capacity. You bet your ass if Optic gets a League of Legends team again, I swear to God I will be a League content creator for the org.
I would actually believe that.
I will not stop at anything until that happens.
I'd believe that.
There's literally nobody that cares. I got into an argument about this on Twitter the other day. Somebody posted about Optic Gaming and like how basically like the merger with Envy is going to lead to like them taking over the Envy brand and kind of like expanding from there. And they were saying how it could work into other games. I was like, it did not work into League of Legends and Dota. And they're like, that's because the roster was shit. I was like, it's more than just the roster being shit. But I'm not going to get into this. You don't have, like, I'm the biggest Optic fan there is. Don't fuck with my logic. I'm the guy who's been tracking their stats for 4 years. Don't test me. Anyways, I'm going to let you do the intro. I'm going to let you drive everything since you came up with the list. Good sir.
Oh, okay. Well, which episode is this? 22? Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Crossover Podcast, episode 22. I am 23 Tar Heels 50, or known as Paul, and this is David Zhynok. I always say your name wrong. Also
Shynock.
known as
Come on.
Shynock. Sorry, dude, that's a hard last name to say.
I don't want to hear it.
Also known as our marketing department editor, really runs everything because it's on his channel, his TikTok. And our resident Dead Team fan.
Yep.
But they, luckily, this time of year, we have some fun stuff to talk about. Honestly, more fun than regular season, I'd say, most of the time in LCS.
Yeah, probably.
Because we get Hopium type of year, which is the best because we get to talk about LEC roster changes, more importantly, LFL roster changes, and excitingly, LCS roster changes.
Don't shit talk the hand that feeds us a little bit. For those that do not know yet, and I will make this announcement here because I don't think it has been said publicly yet. Next week on this podcast, we will have the CEO of Immortals Gaming on the podcast, Mr. Jordan Sherman himself. We are confirmed. By the way, it got moved to Monday, not Tuesday. By his request, I forgot to mention that to you, but yeah. So Monday next week, we will have the CEO of Immortals on here to talk localization, to talk LCS, and so much more. If you think that I'm passing up on a chance to grill the guy who stole my league spot from me, yeah. No, I can't. Okay, I can't be. I can't be a tool like that whenever he's on here. I'm not gonna lie.
And the fact that he's like basically making esports into regions, which is something we've talked about, a thing in Michigan.
Yeah.
So
a great area.
I guess we could start, if we want to, the LCS rosters at the fact that Immortals, the team we just talked about, did pick up Wild Turtle and Power of Evil. So that is pretty interesting.
I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling their roster.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, okay, to be clear, there's going to be a very clear division of teams in the LCS this year, even more so than last year. Like last year, we kind of had like
Yes.
a mesh between like the top 6 and then the bottom 4. This year, we have a clear cut power 4 below, and maybe a power 5 depending on what TSM does, but nothing is locked in there. So of the rosters that we know, clear cut power 4.
Mhm.
Everybody else below that is competing for 5th. Best case scenario, 4th if they can pull off an upset. Uh, Worlds is not the not the end all be all. Your goal at this stage is to refine your stars and make it so that you only have to change a few pieces going into next year to then become a LCS title hunting team. Immortals is definitely in that category because they have what is it still Revenge and Xerxes?
Yes.
Okay, so they have decent players, all things
Mhm.
considered. Power of Evil, I feel like, is like somebody that's gonna hold your line for the time being. Same with Wild Turtle. But
Yeah.
realistically, if you want to compete for a title, one, Wild Turtle needs to be your veteran leader that helps everybody develop this year, and then you upgrade in the following year. Uh, but beyond that, I don't know. Like the ceiling just feels capped, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah. And I would say Destiny is definitely low tier. Like I thought they'd upgrade easily there. I mean, the fact that they didn't even try to go get Ayla, that's how you say it, right? Team Liquid's
Yeah,
support.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, go grab him. Uh honestly, you could have tried to get Luger and Poom as well. Maybe put some more
I
effort
mean
in for them.
that would have been probably the better pick. Like CLG got a steal with those two.
Yeah, they did. They really did. Like of the lower tier rosters, because it's clearly what Immortals, Dig,
I think
CLG,
Dig is
GS.
like Dig is well below everybody else, but barring Golden Guardians, I think like Golden Guardians might be the clear cut last again.
Yeah, GGS's team is gonna be just really tough. I mean, there's not a lot you can do with it.
No, like the combination of Ole and who's their ADC again? They just signed him.
Ole
Oh,
and
Lost,
oh crud, yeah, lost.
Lost. I
Doesn't look
I
good.
no, I have little like again, like the philosophy that I will continue to maintain with these bottom with the teams that are not clearly contending for worlds is you need to be working and developing towards something. And as
Yep.
much shit as we gave CLG over the last 2 years, you have to give them credit. They are building a roster that you can plan long term around. That you can hope
Yeah.
that these players develop. If they don't, then at least, you gave it a chance. If they do work out, which I highly doubt that Luger and Poom will not work out.
Yeah.
You're able to start getting building blocks there and start working your way up.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Palafox is also a pretty cool pickup.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited to see that roster. But I mean, there's not a ton to talk about because the bottom 5 teams are so clearly bottom 5. It kind of hurts.
It
Like,
it does
it's
okay.
kind of insane.
What
I
do you
mean,
think
it's not bad.
yeah, that's fair. But like okay, what do you think of FlyQuest?
Well, some of my issue is the bottom 5 with the bottom 5 teams is like, and this is why with FlyQuest, it's like an issue is that I would have liked to see them at least try out some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I FlyQuest at first, my vibe was okay. Really like this. They go get Tusil. I don't know how to say his name right, but
Yeah.
they go get him, and then I'm sitting there like, okay, they're getting him, so that means they care about long term getting better. But
Yep.
then they announce Afromu as support, and I'm like, how? In what world is recycling Afromu for like the third year way too long? That he's been overextended and playing in a league he shouldn't be. Like, at what point do you get rid of the guy?
I
Like,
mean,
he can't keep getting away with it, type of deal.
the thing is that like Afromu can fill a very specific niche if you need him to, where it's like if you need a veteran leader and somebody that can be a little bit more aggressive, then that's fine. But it's like who do they have pairing with them? I'm trying to look it up now, but it's like I don't think they've announced
No, they haven't.
their
Oh
roster
no,
yet.
they have Johnson.
Oh, okay. See that? I
Yeah,
mean, that's not bad, but like,
it's Kumo, Jose Dioto, Tusil, Johnson, Afro.
so Jose Dioto is going to be, once again a holdover. Like he's not going to be great.
Yeah,
He's not going to do horrible. He'll get you through to, what is to come. Uh, Kumo, kind of we've tried that. We've tried that experiment a few times now. Johnson, okay, I'm torn on Johnson because it seems like he's a decent player, but he's never been given a shot at a top team, and I feel like that would be for a reason for the most part.
yeah. Also, real quick, I just sent you
Yes, thank you
a
so
roster
much.
tracker that a friend made. It's really cool. But um, yeah, Johnson has never been a part of a great team, but I don't know if that's because he's actually bad or if that's because he's kind of getting trolled. It's kind of a mix of both. His first season, he was really, really good. He looked nice, and then for some reason, he just started getting trolled,
Yeah,
like with terrible teams. And I think he even plays like that. Like the dude plays like he's perma tilted because he is perma tilted. I mean, it's just not really fair. Uh, Beyond that, I mean, like it's pretty obvious that Dig, CLG, FlyQuest Immortals, and GGS probably aren't going to be competing too high. I would say the only thing I think of all of them, CLG probably has the highest ceiling.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, Immortals has the lowest floor,
Yeah.
or
Well,
the
no, I would say
highest
Dignitas.
floor. My bad.
Oh
Whatever
yeah,
it would be, they're most like middling,
yeah.
most middling.
No,
They're a
completely.
team that I could see making playoffs just because most of the players do
Yeah.
end up in there.
And can we just throw this out there now? Whoever's running Dignitas's management choices this offseason,
Very
uh,
weird.
like I'm not saying watch your back, but like I'd be worried for my job if this was the roster that I put together.
Yeah, I don't know where they came up with River and
River, I don't
like
mind, but it's like blue. Why are you spending an
no,
import slot on
yeah.
blue?
Well, that's what I was gonna get to. Is like I don't understand how you start with River announcing him, and then you somehow end up with Biofrost and Blue.
Yeah, like
Like at
Neo
first
is
they
a
said
great.
River. Yeah, Neo is good. I agree.
I don't.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. Like it actually doesn't make sense. They were like fake god Neo, and then I was like, okay, Saligo. Saligo wasn't bad. Like maybe give Saligo one more try, and then throw an academy guy in if you think he stinks. And what blows my mind is they have Blue and Fire is out there
Yeah,
as a free agent.
yeah. I would 100% take a chance with Five Fire
Yeah,
over literally anything else. But
maybe
it
takeover from TSM. I don't know.
like this just goes back.
Jensen.
This goes back to our point where it's like
Yeah.
I I have zero problem with
Like
importing. I think you should be like if you're not importing onto your roster, you're doing something wrong.
yeah.
With that said, there's a responsible way to import and an irresponsible way to import. TL, Cloud9, 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, all showing the good ways to import.
Yeah.
You don't import if you're a middle to bottom tier team and you import a player that you already know the quantity of. Like that's what makes the FlyQuest move uh Tukio or Tukanio. I don't
Yeah,
know his name
to
either.
seal or whatever.
Tusil. That's a good move because you're taking a
Yeah,
chance on a
great move.
player that's younger, could turn like that's literally the Bjergsen move. That's exactly what that is, and we see
And
how
he's
that turned out.
French.
Exactly.
Like, that's genius.
You get the French fans coming in, so you have French,
Yeah.
you have Spanish, you got a little bit of everything mixed in. But it's like if you're Dignitas, what are you hoping to accomplish with this roster? At all. Like I don't get at all because you have
Yeah.
two decent players who are still growing. Neo, and Fake God. And you are literally more or less just having them do an entire year of development, hoping that they can flourish into
Yeah.
something with kind of crumbling pieces around them to a certain extent.
And even like worse, the same FlyQuest and Dig kind of did the same thing. They got some interesting players and then just put awful pieces around them. Like I don't get it.
I
I really don't get it. Like Power of Evil was a free agent still when Dig was looking around.
and it the thing that makes this worse is like had CLG not actually done the proper route of like picking up good amateur talent,
Yeah.
then it would be like, okay, well maybe, maybe there's this sign that truly there is no talent to be developed over time. Maybe we truly are, like, our academy system truly is that bad, but clearly that's not the case. You have almost all of 100 Thieves Academy getting into the LCS, uh, barring Kenvi, which I think would have been a perfect fill-in on CLG's roster. But
Yep.
yeah, nevertheless, I guess he's staying. I don't know what his intentions are,
But
but it's like,
to make Nick happy that he'll like this, it is true. Like literally that's what C9 did. They
yeah,
basically brought in two interesting people and then went, hey, let's actually fill this roster out.
yeah.
Like, and that's what you have to do. That's why I think the bottom five is just so bad. Again, like
And,
always.
and here's the thing that I'll say: if for some reason any of the bottom five end up seeing this, uh, you better bust your ass on content, because
Yeah.
if your stated goal is clearly not to win LCS, is to just maintain a presence over the course of the year, you better hit me with some really goddamn good initiatives over the next year to grow it. This is the biggest year you will ever have in North America,
Yeah.
like at least in the next 5 years. So what the hell are you going to do in that meantime with the extra attention that will guaranteed to be on this year, or guaranteed to be on that, whatever. You
I
have to
got you.
you have to do something. You cannot just sit here and be like, okay, well, it is what it is. We'll pump out the same old documentary. You got to do something. I don't know what it is. I don't have the answer for you. I don't know what your initiatives are, but you have to do something.
Yep.
Because, dear God, did Cloud9, 100 Thieves, Team Liquid,
Yeah.
and Evil Geniuses absolutely smurfed this offseason.
Yeah. And if what TSM is rumoring to be having, it's not going to look pretty for the bottom five.
Who, to be clear, because I don't know anything about it, who is Fate?
He was Liv Sandbox's. He was Summit's teammate. He was basically
Ah,
the only other good player on Liv.
okay.
And to put it the way it's best to describe him, he was called an S tier mid, while and the only players he was ranked under was Showmaker, Faker, and Chovy.
Wow.
And his KDA gold per minute and CS per minute all put him top 3 LCK.
Wow.
So
That's impressive.
he's pretty good.
So
He's pretty good.
what happened to that development roster that Reggie and Parth were talking
What are you
about?
talking about? Fate is 21. So's life. That's
Jeez.
development age. 21. 21's not old.
We both know very goddamn well they were like, Reggie and Parth were panicked when they
He
lost Fierce.
said they'll be developmental focused, and
That's not developmental focus. That is a roster that you put together to try and make worlds this year.
well, when Tactical fell into their lap, what were they supposed to do?
I mean, by all means, Tactical is a great pickup. He's still a top tier ADC in this league, and anybody that says otherwise and memes for the Malphite shit, I'm sorry, but that's just that is shitty narrative from
Well,
the
here's the
LCS's
stat.
part.
You want to hear an interesting stat about them getting Tactical?
Hit me.
So going from lost to Tactical means that TSM went from the last place damage per minute ADC to the first place damage per minute ADC.
Which is exactly what TSM players were bitching about all year.
Yeah, and I'm saying like that's crazy, no? Like that's a
Yeah.
crazy good upgrade. And like I mean, yeah, I don't even know. And if they get Fate and Life Like that'd be great. I'd rather have life over Mickey X. Obviously, who wouldn't? Like, it'd be crazy not to.
It's tough because it's like Mickey X's ceiling is world class, arguably up there with literally anybody else in the world.
It's just life is also world class.
I mean, quite frankly, I think Mickey X would play better with tactical style.
Maybe.
But I don't know. Like, that's TSM's roster. The issue that I have with this is that, similar to last year, the ceiling is high. Like, if this team gets hot and develops, Tactical is a top tier ADC. I don't think he'll ever be top 2 in this league. I think settling for 3rd would be good. Fate could be great. Could be arguably top 3. Spica, if we already know the caliber of jungle that he is. Huni, serviceable, top 5. I wouldn't put way to go.
Yeah.
Huni top 5, and then Mickey X is a big question mark, but it's like, this is a roster that if it implodes could finish as low as like 6th. If it peaks, it could finish as high as 1st. So it's like, I just have no clue where they're going to come in at.
Yeah. And I mean, well, it's not even real yet, so it doesn't matter until it's real.
That's
because I mean, an actually real roster that is basically the same thing that TSM's trying to do right now.
Yeah.
Like, literally, TSM and C9 are trying to build LCK squads out of thin air. Is C9. I mean, look at that roster, bro. You got Berserk, Winsome, and freaking Summit with a Fudge alt lane or lane swap, and then on top of it all, LS might be coaching.
Yeah. Okay, let's get the elephant out. Let's get the elephant out of the room here with Fudge. How do you think he does role swapping to mid?
I want to say fine, if not great.
Because our biggest criticism of Cloud9, for the most part, during summer and even during their stint of Worlds, is that Fudge was never on the same page as the rest of his team. If that's going to be your mid laner, that's a problem. An even bigger problem than your top laner.
Yeah. I mean, I can't argue that. Like, I think my biggest problem with Fudge still is the fact that sometimes he is too busy freezing a wave to be at the fight at the right time. And I understand where he's coming from because he's an LS prodigy. And that's also what I wouldn't know about LS coaching is LS sees the game in one way.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he's going to see it in a different light. Hopefully, you would just hope nothing goes wrong with that roster. My only thing would be what happens if something goes wrong. And I know nobody wants to hear this type of stuff, and I'm sure Fudge will do great. I think he's going to be top 3. Like, that's just how it is.
Not every move ends in a fairy tale, and you have to address both possibilities.
Yeah, and the big thing is, like, right now, everybody's trying to build a roster to be the super team that is Team Liquid. And I think it's pretty easy to say. I would say the top 4 would be, assuming if TSM could get Fate and Life, it would put, I would say it's TSM, like no particular order, TSM, TL, C9, 100 Thieves. And then
put EG in that same category?
No,
really?
EG is only, though this is the only reason. EG is just, we have to see how high they get. Because their ceiling is higher than all 4 of those teams, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Their ceiling is higher. It's just, we have to see it actually work first. Because Jojo Pune is a prodigy, and that's the issue of a prodigy, is that you never know what a prodigy will actually become.
Yeah.
Type of deal. Like, we know what 100 Thieves is. 100 Thieves is the metric. They're who everyone's going to want to beat them, whether they think people underrate them or not. And if I'm them, I'm going to keep that chip on my shoulder.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
For an analyst perspective, which I'm not saying we're analysts, we're not that good, but for somebody who wants to watch the game, I'm basing everyone off of them because they're the standard of winning.
Yeah.
They didn't change anything. They
And
literally changed nothing but add a really good top laner. That's
I
it.
mean, they're adding versatility, which is exactly
Yeah.
what you want from your top team.
Yep. And C9 in TSM right now are asking the question I wanted asked, which is I mean, I've been saying this for about a year, have I not?
Yeah.
I want to see if a full import roster can do it. And you might as well call this C9 and TSM rosters full import cuz like one player on both rosters is actually born in America or Canada.
Yep.
So,
And look, let's address this and get it out of the way because I know people will continuously bring it up. Paul and I have already stated our stance on the import rule, where our
yeah.
thoughts lie, and everything else. You can go back and watch previous podcasts if you want to hear it. But basically, the TLDR version, at least for my opinion, I'll let Paul speak for himself. We do not have the talent at the current moment to compete on an international level. Now, personally, I think our expectation as a region should always just be getting out of groups with a positive win rate. From there,
Yeah.
we'll address it. And the only way to secure that for now is by importing as many players as you possibly can, and you hope that that helps change the infrastructure, the ecosystem, and everything else around it. The introduction of the new West Coast Super Server might help that a little bit, but you need time before American-born players or even Canadian-born players truly step up and are able until it's like no longer it's like do we import Inspired or do we take this American jungler? Until it's not even a question of doubt that you take the American jungler, then we need to continue to import until we get those resources in. So
Yeah.
I have zero problem with teams importing as much as they can. They just need to put out content and make these players relatable to an American audience, and that's what teams have been failing to do. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah. And I mean, I've always been big on imports, but the only thing that has me excited about imports finally is if we want to jump into it now, the super server champion server.
Yep.
My bad. And I think that changes a lot. I don't know, did it change your look on getting imports at all? Because
No,
it kind of seems like this is us throwing everything in
yeah.
and hoping it works. One thing I will say about the champion server, I think it will help with is that I think it'll help a lot with player development because now, like, what? Oh, also the format changed to Academy and Proving Grounds. I thought was really good.
Yeah.
These two things I think will help a lot with development. Is one, making Academy and Proving Grounds something where there's no playoffs anymore for Academy and just everybody goes to Proving Grounds to play even amateurs is really good because now they have that Champions queue where all these players can play top players and try hard. And the best rule about the Champions queue is that you can't be a one trick.
Yep.
And while I do think that stinks for some of the one tricks, and I feel
don't feel
bad that they won't get to be on there,
I do not feel bad whatsoever.
I think it's important you do that because if you don't do that, you're ruining the versatility of it, and you're not helping with some of what it's there for, which is mainly there to make the region better. And I want to see good players get better and get noticed. And I think it'll be really good when your franchise player can be like, hey, this guy on the champion server is really good. Why are we not looking at him on our academy team at all?
Yeah. Here's my worry, though. And it's the same worry that I've had in years past, and we talked about this with the going into summer. You know how there was that prior kind of like offline server on the tournament realm where like
Yeah.
pros and like Anero and everything, they'd organize it, try and get scrims going, try and get matches going, etc. That fell through so quickly every time. And the biggest problem that people had with it was that you could never consistently get games.
Yep.
That's the exact problem that you're going to run into on the super server as well. Queue times are still going to be long. The reason why the Chinese super server works so well is because you have 10 or 12 other different areas that you can pull from, and nobody's still going to have any ping issues. Like you are just handpicking the cream of the crop out without affecting anything else. when
Yeah.
you pull these top players out of American solo queue already, you're going to have a significant impact on the top level of everything else. More
Yeah.
importantly, your queue times are going to be insanely long at times. And are pros truly going to be okay with that and be accepting of the fact that you might have to wait, a 10-minute queue, which is what you're, not fully, but you're getting close to that in regular solo queue as well. And East Coast realistically cannot join this. There's no way.
No.
Which, to be fair, that's less of a factor because it's like if you want to go pro in League of Legends, you've known that you have to go out to the West Coast, so that shouldn't be a shock. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it's if I want to work, if I want to work in gaming and work for like a video game developer, I understand that like I'd have to live out in California or Cary, North Carolina. Like those are realities of
Yeah.
the industry that you're going into, and many kids and teens might not want to hear that, but that's the reality as a college student, as an adult. You have to go to where the jobs are. So sorry, not sorry. That just kind of is what it is to my East Coast people. We get shafted, but it is what it is.
It's what I'm hoping they do is they just start letting a ton of people on. I mean, I don't know though if you might need to let some one tricks on just to keep it going.
No, I think
I
you can
don't.
get enough people that aren't one tricks,
I
and you'll be
hope they
fine.
can. My biggest fear is people's attitudes. Like, I understand you're not gonna have enough. Like, there's gonna be some bad players on there
Oh
who are gonna
God,
get
yeah.
curb stomped, but they're not actually bad players. That's the problem. Like, what are the attitudes gonna be? Because at some point you're just gonna have to let it be and let some of these dudes kind of do their thing.
I I don't know. Like again, and I'm glad that people called it out on Twitter whenever this was announced that this is not the permanent solution to this.
Hmm.
This is a band-aid over what is still a bullet wound that is North America's player base being a fracture of what, or a fraction of what Korea, China, and Europe have.
Yep.
That's the bigger problem. And that's not something that the LCS can solve. So understandably, they're taking the measures that they have to go that route. But we still need to find ways to grow League of Legends in North America. That's
Yeah.
priority number one, and it will continue to be so until we finally hit 3 million people actively playing ranked.
Yep.
I don't know how else
And
you fix that.
I mean, the hope is that these teams perform well enough during Worlds to build hype for the game. I mean,
But you can't wait that long.
the issue is like, I don't know. They're my only thing with saying like these teams are so good, right? Like Cloud9's team is really good. TSM's prospective team or whatever would be really good. Or saying like 100 Thieves team or Team Liquid's like, if we think that there's a possibility that TSM's or Cloud9's Koreans are good enough to make a real run at Worlds, like, are they old enough even to do that? I mean, they're pretty young players. Not saying that that's not. I mean, there are other regions where young players make crazy runs.
And to be
So
fair,
maybe we just have
T1
to hope
also
they do.
just proved that. They were the
True.
youngest roster at Worlds by a wide margin.
Yeah, and they made the run.
Yeah.
It's just you gotta hope it hits. Because we're going pretty hard into Korean talent right now. As a region.
The
I
thing is
mean,
that it's not a 1 year thing though. Like I get
it's not.
our
Yeah.
philosophy is understandably going to be we want this year to be big because Worlds is in North America. There's this elevated prestige that comes with it. There's a lot of external factors that make this year arguably the most important. From a brand perspective, the 3 teams that go to Worlds this year will have more eyeballs on them than any other brand could possibly ask for. It's a one-way ticket to guaranteeing your permanence in the league for an extended period of time.
Yep.
I mean, Immortals only got. It was 2016 was in North America. Did Immortals make it? No, who were our teams in 2016? No, it was CLG, it was TSM, and Cloud9. And look at that. That got us to the point where CLG was a corpse for the last 2 years, but they had enough power and relevancy from that 1 year to carry them through 5.
True.
That's the impact.
I mean, it's true.
CLG is your case study right there of how important Worlds and these big events in North America can be for your brand. Give me your gut reaction right now. What 3 teams are making it to Worlds?
Right now?
Right now. I'm going to grab a drink, but I'll still have my headphones on.
Okay. I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to know because TSM hasn't even finished our roster.
Assume it's Mickey X.
Ew. Oh. EG, 100 Thieves, and then C9 can suck at TSM.
So you think Team Liquid misses Worlds?
By the end of the year, probably.
Oof.
This is gonna sound weird, but
it's not gonna sound weird. I know exactly what you're gonna say, and it's a take that I was gonna go into in a minute.
Oh, do you want to go into it then?
Nope, go right ahead.
Do you know which player it is? I think is the weak link.
Do I need to go put on a dress?
I mean, I think it's Santorin. I think
no, it is.
Like, Santorin's definitely not going to be able to play as well as any of the other junglers, right? Like, he's not bad. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying, like, there's a clear distinction between having inspired closer, Spico, or Blabber.
I'm genuinely shocked that they did not pay out the ass to buy out Kenby.
Or just like
even if you have him in
I guess
academy,
they can't get a Euro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like even if you have Kenby in academy, you still guarantee that you have like somebody that you can replace him with that is like generational talent, like Kenby is.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you do outside of that. Like, what for Team Liquid? What happens if Santorin's headaches come back and his migraines come back? This super team that you have, once again, you go through the same problem as last year, where you can
even
never
without
give him the
him,
form.
Even without him, I don't think he's the answer.
I agree. So it's like
my other thing is I've been watching Bjergsen's stream, and when he came back, I even told you when he was coming back, and I didn't even know he wasn't going to be on TSM. I wasn't that like excited.
Yeah.
Because I think Hansama Core JJ is crazy good.
Oh yeah, that's
obviously.
I mean, as of right now, you still have to give FBI who he credit for best.
They're
bot
the
lane
best.
in the LCS.
Yeah, they're the best.
But Hansama and Core JJ is easily, bar none, second best at the moment.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know what Berserker and Winsome will be. I assume they'll be good, but that's all I know.
That'll be a bot lane that I think will be great by the end of the year. But beginning of the year, C9's roster as a whole is going to be exactly like Fudge's arc from last year. They're going to be like, I do not have faith that they're going to be great to start. There's just going to be so many misplays, miscommunication moments, and there's just going to be a lot of.
They give me a lot of last year's TSM vibes. They have a chance of like having a really high, and if they can meet it and go higher than that squad did, then they can pop off and make Worlds. But I think they're definitely not a what?
Their floor is way higher than TSM was last year, though.
That's true. That is true, 100%. They just aren't like a team that I'm confident in saying is going to be super good. I guess, but I'm not confident in saying TSMs would either. Like, That's the issue. It's just with TL's team, I just see a lot that can go wrong. Like if Santorin stinks, is Blippo's mental? I don't know what happens there. Like, is he gonna have like another girlfriend problem or something? If
Jeez,
Santorin gets a headache, like, I don't know.
2 headaches on
Good.
one team. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, why are you so high on EG then?
And one person trying to get ahead. Weird. But oh, EG. Fuck that.
Yeah.
There it is. I was waiting to see your face. But JoJo feud is just. I think he'll end up being really, really good. I think he'll end up being really good. Um,
I hate you.
and Deity's obviously really, really good. Inspired was like the best jungler in EU, other than I guess him and Elioya, but Inspired was like literally 1v9 in games. And TL's never gonna talk to us. What did I do? But no. Inspired is like super good too. So I see no reason to not think they won't be a good team. I actually do think Bippo could be the best top laner in North America, oddly enough.
Yeah,
but
no, I agree.
He has to like. The thing is, at the end of his top lane run, everyone seems to forget he was not doing great, and he did really good at jungle. But his like end of being a top laner was very, very tough to watch.
Yeah, he was
like
he was never on the same page as his team, and he was just running it at times.
And that TL squad just doesn't give me good vibes, as weird as that is to say.
No, I mean, well, the thing is that you compare it immediately to 100 Thieves, and it's like 100 Thieves, even if you replace Someday with Tenacity, there is this clear level of cohesion that is going to be very hard to surmount for every other team in the LCS. Like, this is the first time in, I think it's 7 years, that a winning roster has stuck together. And Tenacity solves the one problem that they have of having a very weak top lane with
it's the first time in 5, right? 2016-17 TSM?
No. Wild Turtle.
Yeah, but I mean, Double F came back the next split.
I want a full. You need a full year to develop.
Fine, that's fair. So yeah, you're right. Like this is
the first time in a long time that we've seen the winning roster stay together, which is great. They made the one change that you and I both said that they needed to make, and that Tenacity was the kind of the fix
and they even
to Someday.
Like did it perfectly.
Yeah, and somehow they still kept Kenvi. That if Closer for some reason does fall off, if maybe he was peaking, in summer, doomsday scenario, he comes back down to earth where he's just not on the same page with the team whatsoever. Kenvi is that plug. Do I see that happening? No.
Here's a question.
Oh no, don't put me on the spot. I know what you're gonna say.
If Santorin starts to get bodied, right? Like a lot of us think he will. Does 100 Thieves have to keep the junglers held hostage?
Okay, well, here's the thing that's conflicting. So,
I think they do.
Somebody in my chat though said that he's decent friends with Kenvi, and that Kenvi.
Okay, the guy.
Yeah,
my bad.
He said that he elected himself to stay on 100 Thieves despite other offers. Because I'd imagine CLG probably put in an offer for him. Why would they not? They're already buying out Luger. They're already buying out Poom. Why would you not throw in Kenvi in there?
I'm sure FlyQuest did too.
Yeah. But it's like... And by all means, I'm sure Evil Geniuses probably did as well. Because then they could have imported support.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But... does 100 Thieves hold him hostage if TL say throws a $1 million contract for him?
If I'm them midsummer, right? Okay, let's say spring into summer, TL doesn't perform like they should.
Yeah.
And I would say that's not winning at all because that's what Steve's expectation is going to be.
Yeah.
So
You do not spend this amount of money to not win. At least
yeah,
one split.
which they haven't won in a while. So they're obviously pretty upset because they've been close. They went to 2 finals last year and they lost both.
Yep.
So if they lose a third and they got even close to the final, or they get fourth, like something terrible, then I could see them wanting him really bad, either one, closer or Kenvi, and throwing a lot of money 100 Thieves way. And if I'm 100 Thieves, I'm not doing it mid-season, and I don't think Kenvi would hate them for that. I don't think closer would either, and I think it's understandable if they do it. And I think there will be a lot of hate from the community. I think they'll say that this is some form of hostage negotiation that's gone wrong, but I don't believe that.
No,
I don't think that's
I
how
don't
it
believe it either.
works. That's the way life is. I mean, it makes sense to not send your best player to, or not your best player, but one of the top 2 players that would fix the issues for another team.
Yeah, you don't immediately upgrade your opponent
Opponents,
unless
yeah.
like if Steve's willing to pay $3 million, maybe. Maybe. That's a
Yeah,
sum
then
of
you're in a different boat.
that's
Yeah.
a sum of money, but it's not like you're not getting $3 million for a player who has never once played in the LCS. So it's
No.
not like his buyout's high, but it's clearly not that high if CLG could buy out 2 of the other players. Like I would assume whatever buyout CLG paid, it's probably 10 to 20 times that for Kenvi, and TL 100% has 10 to 20 times the money. So
Yep.
there's not a doubt in my mind that those offers and opportunities weren't there. Kenvi probably just didn't take it.
Yep.
So,
And
but
yeah,
what do you do if you're Kenvi though? If you're if you're Kenvi and closer comes up and starts playing and is just playing consistently well,
Mm-hmm.
at what point do you start reevaluating? Like, okay, shit, maybe I do have to go elsewhere.
I think if you're him, you're looking at after summer. Uh, if Closer's still playing well, TL's gonna want to pay you a lot. You don't know if Speak is gonna stay. You have a lot of options. I mean, yeah, a lot of options.
I would not want to go to TSM right now. There's
Oh,
no
why? Just as like a player?
just because
I mean,
management's not very flushed out. Like
maybe yeah.
with all the internal changes going on right now for them, uh, if I'm,
But I mean, by next year they'll probably be.
I mean, yeah, well that's the thing. By next year, you hope so. But
Yeah.
if this is my first year in the LCS, I would want to go
Oh,
to.
not this year. No, I was mean next year.
No, I'm saying even next year. Like if these
Oh,
problems still persist, if TSM is an internal, or like dumpster fire at the
yeah.
moment, I'm not going there if I'm Kemby. My first year as a pro in the LCS, I want to be under stable management on a top tier team if possible, or at worst case mid tier team with very well flushed out management. I
Yeah.
would not want to risk any sort of internal issues or anything out of my control on my first year, which is arguably the most important for your career and your prospects long term in the LCS.
My guess is he'll end up on C9.
That would probably be my guess too. If
Because,
Blabber does not work out this year, Kenvi is like the next
yeah.
down.
Because my biggest, like, fear of C9 is, like, the obvious weakness for C9 is Blabber on an experimental roster.
Yeah.
Which this roster, I guess, isn't experimental, but it kind of is. I mean,
If it is,
Berserker wasn't.
you have 3
Yeah,
players that
Berserker
need to
wasn't playing
develop.
pro. Yeah. And, like, TSM's obvious glaring weakness is Huni. No, like, it's just easy to say.
Yeah, it is.
It's Huni. And if
Mickey X could be a problem,
yeah,
but
assuming they don't, go for a Korean support. I mean, they're trying so hard to get Korean.
yeah.
Right now. I mean, so hard. But like Chovium, it's they if they can figure it out, I mean, we'll see. But
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, if you're can be like, it's definitely true. You probably don't end up on TSM. I mean, mainly because like I think something would have to go incredibly wrong for Speaker to leave.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna
No, I mean
offer
you're
him a
right.
lot of money. No,
No, you're 100% right.
like he's gonna make so much next year.
So, I need to do something for like 3 minutes. I'm gonna leave you on this prompt, but I'll be able to hear you because I'll have the stream on my phone. But I want to know your thoughts on this. Doublelift
Okay.
is now not playing in the LCS. LS has come into Cloud9. Cadril is now going to Vitality.
Uh huh.
Do you think Co-Stream comes back? Yes or no, and why? And I'll be right back.
Oh, does co-streaming come back? Uh, I think yeah. I think co-streaming stays. Um, I probably won't watch it because I mean, I like the broadcast. Like, I don't like the broadcast. I like the announcers. Um, I usually mute the broadcast to be honest in between games. But like, I really only liked co-streaming to listen to Double Lift, watch the TSM games, and if he's not doing that, I don't really care anymore. Um, because he's not going to be because he doesn't like us anymore. So kind of obvious he hates us. Uh, I don't really feel anything for watching I Will Dominate. He's just not interesting to me. Like, not that he's not good, he's just typically pretty depressing. So, I mean, other than that, I don't really care. Like, hello. Yeah. Excited for the new season as well. Coasterman can come back or not. I don't care. Like, I really don't care. If it does, more power to him. I hope people watch the co-streams and enjoy them. I hope the people who make money off of co-streaming keep making money and enjoy their happiness. If it doesn't, I'll just keep doing what I always do when I watch the games, and my life won't really change. The only person I really liked watching was LS, and he's done it because he's coaching C9. So C9 does it yet again. I already hate them enough, and then they had to take the one thing I enjoyed about League of Legends and crush it. So there we go. They really cucked me. Other than that, Ghost streaming is a massive, just not interesting pile of gobbledygook, and it doesn't do anything. And 90% of the time, it takes the hype out of the game for me because they like in real time. Yeah, that's true. If they had partner ones, it'd be fun. If they had people who had like better game sounds, I guess, and hype, it would be fun. Uh, co-streaming, if I'm them, I make an alt stream. Here's my perfect world of co-streaming. Here we go.
I knew
I'm
you were
gonna
gonna
build the
bring this up.
perfect world. I'm gonna take an alt stream. I'm gonna get cool people who people actually want to listen to, like streamers from other groups. I'm gonna let them co-stream because I originally I loved listening to Sneaky and Meteos. I'd watch every Meteos one to listen to Sneaky because Sneaky and Meteos would say hilarious stuff and it was funny. And then Double Lift started doing it with them, and I kind of liked it. And Double Lift after games would always interview Spica, and that was really funny. And then all of a sudden, Double Lift got really pessimistic out of nowhere during co-streaming, and I just didn't enjoy it anymore because the pessimism doesn't hype me up. I'm in the middle of watching a game. I don't care about how good it is or analyzing it. I'm watching it to have fun at
Yeah.
that point, and I'm watching it because I like my team. I don't need somebody in the middle of the game. Like if an ex North Carolina basketball player was at a game sitting next to me and I was watching it with him and I was having the time of my life and I was happy because I was with a North Carolina basketball legend, and he looked at me in the middle of the game and said, "Why are we watching this team? They stink. I'm tired of watching North Carolina basketball. They're terrible." I'd look at him and I'd be like, "Well, you're no fun."
Yeah.
You're like, what's the point of me watching this game with you, douchebag? I'd be like, shut up. You're like,
Yep.
I'm here to watch my team. Go bother somebody else who wants to be depressed. It's like, I want to watch my team and be happy. I want to imagine we can win it all. Like,
You
I
need to
don't turn
suspend
on.
that disbelief a little bit just to make sure that it.
Yeah, I'm a Colts fan.
Hmm.
We're 5-5, and I've been saying all week that we're only one game out of playoffs. Do you think I actually believe that?
No.
No. But do you think I'll keep saying that? Yes, last year when TSM was clearly not that good, I pretended like they were gonna win it all.
You have to. That's part of
Yeah, that's
that's
part of having fun.
that's fandom for you.
Yeah, it's fun.
And on
It's
the
fun to
one in a
believe.
million chance that it actually happens, i.e., the Braves of this year, or like
True.
I'm trying to think of like good NBA examples other than like I don't know.
The Bucks.
Yeah,
The
the
Bucks are a
Bucks.
great example. Nobody
Bucks are.
thought they were good enough, to be honest. A lot of people didn't.
It's like that bit of belief goes a long way, and
And the Suns.
here's an easy way to transition this to the format discussion and changes before we hit the LEC, Reckless, and the LFL.
Yeah.
I personally don't think the streaming or co-streaming is coming back at all.
Well, you hate it.
It's not just because I hate it. I think the changes to the format and the fact that we're going back to just Saturday, Sunday show a clear want from the LCS to consolidate again. They want to bring all their resources back to one spot before they start dishing out and giving any slice of the pie to anybody else. The numbers for viewership were horrible. Regardless of whether you put a positive spin on it and say, oh, well, when you add all the co-streams together, it still looks great. No amount of spinning that is going to compare to when the LEC comes off 300,000 viewers and the LCS only has like 40K.
Yeah.
Like, there's no amount of spin that's good on that. So I think for now, all signs have pointed to me that they are almost going back to the system that made them get big in the first place, which was 2 days a week, 5 matches, go from there, and build out. I don't think co-streaming is coming back because you're losing many of the major assets that you had. The remaining ones, barring Meteos and Sneaky, are gone and going to be affiliated with other things, barring like Dom. But I think the people that you have remaining that you truly want on there, you can bring them on the broadcast in some capacity. Whether that's as a guest analyst, whether that's you need to do things to make the broadcast more watchable. The fact that even you say that you are pausing the analyst desk and not listening to it is a problem. And one that needs to be solved. Me personally, I'll throw this out there because I'm a kiss ass as well. I love the analyst desk. Even in the shittiest times, quote unquote, I will still listen to it. But I grew up listening to that type. Like, I lived for, the Fox pregame, the CBS pregame before NFL Sundays, the college game days, even in between like the halftime analysis of just like getting that validation that like, yes, my team is good. Talk about my team being good. Like that little dopamine rush that you get. That needs to be fixed. Oh, you're fine. You're being honest. And I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. The thing that we talked about last week, I'll agree with. As much as I love the shows that we had beforehand, like Next Level and everything else, they are not good feeding into the LCS at all.
No.
They do nothing to build hype for the games whatsoever. It arguably devalued most of the regular season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think co-streaming needs to go. You consolidate everything back to 2 days, one stream. Maybe you do like the remember when they had like free talk with like a bunch of pro players in the studio on like a Bravo stream as like a casual thing? Maybe you do that and just like have a round table. Have like Meteos, Sneaky, one like LCS color commentator to kind of like push things on and keep it on track as well. But then like invite a pro player too. Now that we'll be back in person, you can do that.
It's actually not a bad idea. I like that idea.
And like that's your one other stream. But you only have that like 2 to 3 games in. Like, not at the beginning. So, I don't know. Do you have any
I
other
mean,
thoughts on the format?
that's all I can think of for co-streaming. Other than that, like, what are we supposed to do? It's not that like fun anymore. I don't know how else to say it. It's just like it was fun at the start because it was a cool new experience, but like Dom is constantly depressing to listen to.
Yeah.
Like maybe he just, and I know he always says he's realistic, so that's what it is.
Being
But
realistic is not an excuse to be a dick. That's like that. It's like that one friend that you
yeah,
have that's always like, "Oh, well, I'm just being honest." No, you're being a dick.
yeah. And most of it wasn't even realistic because half the time he'd act like C9 was better than they were because he's a C9 partnered streamer.
It always gets me when they're like, "Oh, well, I'm being realistic. We're this isn't to be clear. Dom got a lot better by the end of the year.
He
I will give
did.
him a ton of credit for it.
And his LPL stuff was fun.
Yes, this is more specifically of what was like an LS Nemesis and double lift thing. Of
Those were the three problems. Yeah, I should take Dom out because Dom
yeah,
honestly is fun
yeah,
most of the time. It was just the start. He was like he rubbed me the wrong way bad.
yeah. When Dom, I will admit, Dom has really turned around in my view. Like he's been putting out good content that has been fair, openly criticizing at points, but his criticism has gotten a lot more constructive than it was in the past. I, ugh, it it bugs me when people are like, "Oh, I'm being honest, I'm being realistic about our problems, about things that you can't fix, things that cannot happen in a moment." Like our player base is only, X good. Our skill is only X this. Why are you watching it with expectations otherwise? You're going into it
Sure.
automatically being pessimistic because you're expecting something that can't happen.
Sure.
That's like me going into a freaking I don't know, what's a good example? Me going into a game that has 2 0-8 teams in the NFL and expecting it to be as high quality football as, when Tampa Bay and Green Bay play each other. It's not going to happen. It's not. You have to adjust your expectations going into it. You're watching developmental football. You're watching two teams that are barely scrapping it out, so you're looking for positive signs within the mud. That's what you should be doing. Not just sitting here shitting on them. Like, imagine if the NFL broadcasters who are talking to 2 0-8 teams are like, I wonder what these shitters are going to do today. Which one of these two teams is going to get a win? Maybe they'll tie. Maybe they'll still be equally as shit. What good does that do anybody?
True.
But
It'd be very hard to watch.
let me get my final pitch out there to Commissioner Greeley. Please revert the summer split to a 16 playoff instead of 8, or expand the league. Okay, obviously expanding the LCS is not the more feasible option given that nobody's profiting as is. But dear God, does 80% of the teams making playoffs feel so bad? So bad.
That has to go away.
Like, okay, coming from the Optic fan, who we made playoffs once, ever. In our 4 splits that we were in the LCS, we made it once, and we barely made it. It felt like the biggest accomplishment in the world because we made top 6. I'll tell you right now, if we would have limped in the playoffs because 8 teams got in, that high wouldn't have existed at all.
No.
Not even close. It is not the same feeling. And it's not reward. I'd be curious to know, is there truly a good value add to having those additional games where you just watch Team Liquid absolutely dumpster Dignitas?
No.
Sure, Dig gets 3 games, and I'd imagine it's the ownership of those 7th to 8th place teams that are like, this is good for our brand and best of 5 experience. I don't know, get better during the regular season. Sorry.
I mean, does anybody enjoy it?
I'll be honest, I have those games, I do not make it a point to go out of my way to watch them. If I have other stuff going on, I will make sure I prioritize that first so I can free up time for the important games.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know anybody who's watching him.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Like
So,
specifically. I mean, I just don't think people care.
oh, no, I agree with you. So,
So
do you want to move on to the big one?
yeah. You mean the greatest signing of this off season?
Yep. People, Reckless is going to the French league. The
Yeah.
French league is going to have a higher average viewership than every other league, and maybe even competing with the LEC and LCS on certain days.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane.
I mean, yeah, it'll be sad. Like, it's actually kind of tragic, no?
Not really, in my opinion.
I feel
Like,
like he's getting wasted a little bit.
I don't sign a 3 year don't sign multiple year contracts
True.
like that. Okay, that's been a big issue that I've had with people in the off season this year. Why the hell? Let's call out Fudge for this because he's the first to sign the 4 year contract. When you sign these extended deals, you are opening yourself up to an extended amount of risk if you don't perform or if the roster doesn't fully work out. You are potentially putting yourself in the position that Reckless was in, where you're locked into a contract, and owners have zero obligation at all to be nice to you, to take care of your needs, to put you on a team that you think you deserve to go to. You are contractually obligated to play for that team. That is the only thing that they owe you, is the money that is stated in the contract. That is it. I'm not taking Carlos's side here. To be clear, I think Carlos is definitely a bit of a jerk for putting in some of those clauses that he has, but at the same time, it's also smart business to put in clauses like that if it's allowed. That's smart competition, and dumb on the league for not thinking that all the way through. But I think the reckless to the LFL is great. He's still going to be playing. G2 gets their buyout and does exactly what they want to do. They cuck Fnatic in the process. And what else do you have to say? Not
Mm-hmm.
Fnatic. You cuck literally any other team in the process.
Yeah. I mean, here's my biggest issue with Carlos is that I understand like what you're saying, that he did basically what made sense, but at the same time, I kind of just I don't think many other teams can get away with what he's doing, I guess. Like I think a lot of people shouldn't be as happy as they are about it. I mean, he's wasting a lot of talent, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but his priority is not the talent. That's the
I know.
LCS's priority.
My thing is, bro, why are teams signing with him or players?
Because there's so much benefit to playing under the G2 umbrella.
True.
There's
I
social
mean, it's
media
true.
influences. You're probably getting paid the highest out of any
Yes.
organization other than
Just
Fnatic.
sign 2-year deals, please.
I mean, that's what Reckless did.
Really? He
Yeah,
only had one more year into them?
yeah. It was a 2 year deal. And
Ah.
even if it was a 3 year deal, points still remain. He'd be in the same situation regardless.
Well, no, 2-year deals are fine though, because what I'm saying is like a 2-year deal is okay because then they can only waste your time for a year after, right?
Yeah.
So that's okay. Do that. Don't sign a 3-year deal with them because, like, and it's what you said with Fudge too. Like, Fudge signing a 4-year deal is really odd in this climate. But either way, signing longer than a 2-year deal, I feel like is just always bad for the player. It always goes bad for the player.
Almost always. Like there's
I
no
can't think of a player it's gone good for. Like, if a team doesn't want to play you, they're not going to play you. It's too easy to send you to academy in League of Legends.
Okay, so Reckless did it does look like they signed a 3 year deal instead of
Yeah,
two. But
3 is just too much.
I agree. So Fudge signing 4 makes it even more egregious.
Yep.
It's like
I mean, I agree. Hard.
if you're a player, how do you sign more than 2 years? You have zero. Like, think about that. Think about where we were 4 years ago. Think about what TSM's roster was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That's the amount of time that we're talking here for Fudge to stay on C9. That's not happening.
No.
There is no way that he stays on that roster for 4 years.
Not a chance. Literally not a chance.
And of any org, Cloud9, the one org that has shown that they are not afraid to get rid of talent.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Like, I don't know. I just think it's dumb. But Reckless going to the LFL, and what I love even more about it is that Cabochard decides to stay with them because Reckless is going to be there and completely screws Fnatic.
Mm-hmm.
Fnatic didn't want Wonder, otherwise they would have signed him initially.
Yep.
Now they're forced to take him.
And it's brutal. I mean, you don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why are teams doing this? It just doesn't make sense to me. And like, LEC seems to be the greatest perpetrator of it. Why does this stand keep falling, bro? Goodness. And good thing I didn't put a 4-year deal on this stand. But like,
Jesus.
it's they I'm just tired of LEC teams. Like, my big thing is they got so much more talent, bro, to just heave around, right? Like European teams. So they'll heave these players to nowhere fast. And the crazy part is Reckless going down there, it's not even like the ADCs that he's being replaced with suck.
Yeah.
On these teams. Like, none of them are actually that bad. That's a sad thing. Like, he could have come to NA easy. But
Oh my God, yeah.
no NA team is paying $1.5 million.
No. The bubble finally burst, barring Team Liquid.
Yeah.
Team Liquid is the only team to still maintain their spending, and at some point that is eventually going to come back down to earth. But for now,
And yeah, they can't afford it. Like, realistically, they can't actually afford it.
yeah.
Like, they're paying for it, but you know what I mean. You're a finance guy. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna eat this. So it's like, this makes zero sense for all the spending they're doing, and then at the same time, it's, I don't want to say bothersome. I'm trying to think of the way to say it.
Bothersome.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's just bothersome to watch these teams do these crazy buyouts for these players who are good. And then, like, NA teams, I will say what I'm happy about is LCS teams are finally going, you know what? Why pay this much money for these players when we can go get free agents from, like, Korea or EU?
Yep.
Like,
It's
this is
smart
way
business.
smarter. Yeah. I mean, right now, bro, you could either pay $1.5 million to get Reckless, or TSM could not do that, save the buyout money, and offer Chovy, Fate, Life, whoever, and just get Tactical. And the difference between Tactical and Reckless, not to piss too many people off, isn't that huge.
No, it's really not.
Like, it's not that big. And I'm not even a Tactical fan. The dude's from Team Liquid. But on Team Liquid, he looked nice outside of his Tristana inting.
Yep.
Like, he had some really nice plays at Worlds. And he at least made it to Worlds. Like,
Yeah, that's more than most other ADCs can say. That's for sure.
yeah, I mean, I guess I
So-
can't use that argument because Speaker didn't make Worlds. But
So, okay, let me ask you this then, because we are an hour and 10
Yeah.
minutes into it, so we do have to kind of wrap it up a little bit. I'll sum this up. With Vitality having their super roster, with Fnatic, kind of having a decent roster, but picking up the scraps, and G2 apparently having this roster that's smashing Chinese teams at Worlds.
yeah, allegedly.
Who had the better offseason? LEC or LCS?
if TSM can finish the roster that they're expected to finish, I think they put LCS over the hump.
Yeah.
Because the top 5 LEC teams and the top 5 LCS teams, I think, would be pretty close.
Yeah.
But they have to finish with what their roster is projected to be. If they can't land, and I want a Korean support. I'm not saying like Mickey X. Which Mickey X is still top 5 support in Europe. I mean, don't get me wrong. He literally was there. So, like, but I do think like, yeah, TSM has to finish that roster, and obviously there's a lot of hope there. Like, who knows? And 100 Thieves was doing fine at Worlds, so
100 Thieves
I'm not
lost
really.
to the champions. If anybody
Yeah.
really is gonna sit here and credit, like, it's been pissing me off to no end. The amount of people that just meme like, oh, 100 Thieves didn't even make it out of groups and they won the LCS. They lost to T1, who nearly and probably should have taken down Damwon. And they lost to the champions of Worlds and took a game off them. A commanding game. Granted, when the pressure was off, but the point is that you're showing that skill is there. So fuck out of here with that logic. I'm so over it. I'm beyond done with it. Honestly, pound for pound looking at the talent, I think this LEC super team of Vitality is insanely overrated. The same way that
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I would. I think Perks was not even a top 5 player in the LCS. How people can consider him to be one of the best over there is beyond me. And this wasn't, Perks is not a top 5 mid laner because everybody else was crumbling around him. Perks was literally running it several times. So it's like, there's that.
Yeah.
Alfari, the supposed best top laner in terms of mechanical skill, sure, was still getting beat by players like Someday and was getting neutralized. So you can find ways to beat Alfari because he commands so many resources. You know, the Vitality bot lane, probably going to be tough to beat. Not denying that. But this isn't like the clear, like, they're going to win LEC. My odds-on favorite is still G2. By a wide margin.
Not
G2
Fnatic?
No, G2.
Hmm.
Broken Blade, in my opinion, is one of, if not the best top laners in the LEC. Up there with Alfari.
Imagine if TSM would have kept him, bruh.
Yeah, I know.
He's one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
IMO.
Jankos was one of the best junglers of last split. We already know Caps' ceiling, assuming he's able to rebound. And their bot lane, while new, we have evidence per scrims that they're apparently beyond freaking good. So it's like, I think people are just underrating them because they don't know the bot lane, but it's like, once we see them play, it would not surprise me if they just take the LEC by storm.
Yeah.
And pull a damn one from 2018 where nobody knew about him, and then all of a sudden in 2019, oh shit, they're getting better. By 2020, holy crap, these guys are good. It would not surprise me in the slightest if G2 was exactly like that this year. So, if G2 is that good, Vitality is like, my pecking order is G2, Vitality, Fnatic, everybody else. I think it's, you know, players might work out. There's question marks around it, is what it is. But pound for pound talent, I think the LCS keeps up with them.
Yeah.
I really do. I think the top 4 from the LCS could once again perform better than the LEC at Worlds overall.
They have to. Yeah, but they have to show up big.
They do.
Like, they have to, but they're also, like, these rosters are kind of crazy good. For LCS standards.
To bring it back to our title, this is without a doubt the best 4 teams that we have ever put together in the LCS. Team Liquid, 100 Thieves, Cloud9, Evil Geniuses, and if TSM can even get a Korean support, then I'll throw them in there. it would be the best 5 teams that we have ever assembled in North America.
Yeah.
And with the fixes that we have coming in for solo queue with the super server and Worlds in North America, this should be the biggest year that the LCS has seen since 2018.
Yeah.
There's no excuses anymore. We just have to put
literally are.
asses in seats, hit the pavement running. Everybody needs to step up their marketing, and the LCS this year could be massive. But people have to do their goddamn jobs.
Yeah.
I can't be the only fucking TikTok creator more than half the LCS orgs. Put in some work, please. But yeah. Anything else you want to go out on?
No. No.
Cool.
Why? I mean, are we ending now?
Yeah, I don't really got any. I'm more.
Oh, then
stoic.
I'll just slide in. I'm gonna slide in. Tisam Chovy.
Not
I love you,
happening,
Speaka. And I hope we get life.
I hope you do.
Anything
too.
else I'm missing?
I'm gonna end this one on a positive note for you. I hope you get life.
Really?
I do. For your sake, I hope you do.
Imagine if we got Chovy in life instead of Fate in life.
Yeah, don't push it. Okay, I gave you your optimist view for the ending of the podcast. Don't test your luck.
I mean, Fate's gonna be pretty good, but
yeah. Anyways, thank you everybody for tuning in. Be sure to follow Paul on Twitter at 23tarheels50. Follow myself at dshynock. Like us on TikTok. Like us on YouTube. And we will catch you all on the next episode. Thank you all for tuning in.
bye.
And the stream is cut.